Good morning. It's just after 5 a.m. here in Calgary, and today we are working with our hips, playing from being on the floor in Happy Baby, moving through to standing into Goddess, really getting to explore how this leg bone moves in the hip socket, how the feet connect to the hips, how the hips and pelvis and spine are all working, and of course how that then impacts further up the chain. What I've got today is I've got a buckled strap and I have a TheraBand. So if you've got these two things close by, that'd be great. All right, so let's bring ourselves down onto the floor. We're going to do a little check-in first with how our breath is and how we're doing today. Feeling the floor against your body and the body against the floor. And let's begin with our buckled strap. And let's take the buckled strap around the bottom of the foot and bring that up to the sky. And so as you're doing that, your pelvis is staying quiet. And the way that I like to teach this is to have the hip at 90, so that if you don't have the ability to straighten your knee yet, then the knee is bent, as opposed to being out here. And the only reason I don't love this is because if you have to have your leg out like this for it to be straight, that's a whole ton of load out off of your body, out of the center of your body. It's quite heavy. So when you're here, you're closer to the center. But you make the choice for yourself and what makes sense for you. And just easy breathing. And then take the strap into the opposite hand and bring the leg across while keeping the pelvis on the ground. And then bring the leg back up and then take the leg 6 inches out to the side. Great, and then come back and then take the ankle onto the knee. This is when you bring your TheraBand into it. We're just going to move the leg bone initially into a little bit of rotation. Get that feeling of what that leg bone's doing. And then bring that TheraBand around the leg. And then have a little bit of resistance there that you can push your leg against. Keeping the front of your hips completely quiet. All right, great. We're still on the same leg. Bring this leg to your belly now. And now with the leg to the belly, begin to straighten that knee just a little bit. See where you can grab. Maybe you're here, and maybe you can bring that leg up a little bit. Just get a feel of where your pelvis is, where your leg is. Let that pelvis still stay on the ground. Good. And then come back. Let the leg come down and just straighten the legs out. And now notice what you feel left to right. Good. And then come back up and grab the buckle strap. Let's go to the other leg. Strap comes around the foot. Leg comes up. Really easy breath. And then bring your leg across your body. And then take it 6 inches out to the other side. Pelvis is still and stable. And the leg comes back up, ankle comes onto the knee. Good, a little bit of rotation through that leg bone in the hip socket. And then take your TheraBand, bring that around the leg. And then just watch as you're pushing against this resistance, if your hips are starting to move, if the hip flexors are starting to get involved, if you're bracing further up your spine. Notice any of that. Lovely. Okay, now leg comes towards your belly. And then notice as you straighten the knee, we're straightening it only to a maximum of 90 degrees here at the knee. But can you keep your pelvis on the ground? And then from there, leg straightens out. And now notice how your left and right sides feel. And now bring the legs back up. Okay, and bring the knees to your belly, and let's circle them around so that you can feel those legs moving in the hips. And then from here, you can keeping, the key to this is that you're keeping your pelvis on the ground. So you're not lifting your sacrum off the floor. What you're doing is you're keeping the legs where they are. So you decide what makes the most sense. You can snug your hands in behind the knees. Be here, you can raise the hands up, but watch what happens to the shoulders. We're not trying to reach for the feet, but we are bringing the legs down toward your belly. So it might be on the outside, it might be on the inside, but I just noticed I lifted my bum up there. So let me come back to here. So here, this is where I'm at right now, I think. Let's see. There's my sacrum. Yeah, this is where I'm at this point. Yeah. So you get to play. Where are you? Really, really, really easy. Easy breath. Okay. And then bring those legs down. Take a moment with the feet on the floor. And let's roll over. So rolling on over, we're going to be up on our knees for a few movements. So if you need some padding for the under your knees, please grab it. Bring the leg out to the side. Okay, and now from here, let's go side bend. So the big beach volleyball here, side bend over. And if it makes sense, you can bring the arm alongside, but just be aware of what everything feels like through here. Let your body let you know through its sensations and its symptoms about where this arm ought to be. Yeah? When you pay attention to those sensations, you really begin, come on up, to get an understanding of the language of your body. Okay, other side. Good, and then over we go. There you go, good, and then come on back. Okay, let's come forward into a lunge. So again, if you need something underneath your knee, then please do so, and then bring yourself forward. See if you can keep the torso where it is as opposed to coming into a back bend. That is a version of lunge, which is completely fine and cool and great. I'm just more wanting to play around with legs and pelvis at this point, with the knees being part of the game. But we stay nice and level, we don't need to lift up or extend up or do anything like that. Just wherever you started here, let that stay as is as we move forward. Good, and then let's take a slight side bend toward the leg that's in front. So I'm moving away from the computer. Good, and then coming on back up. Great, and then other side. Leg comes forward. Torso, come forward. Good. Good. And then I like the image of thinking that you're a teapot and the spout is at about your armpit and the water comes down the inside of your arm and then fills a small cup on the floor. Nice. And then come back up. All right, perfect. Let's come up into standing. So now we're here in standing. Let's find our tree. So from Tadasana, feel the bottoms of the feet on the floor. Be aware of your feet and as they're connected towards your legs and your pelvis. Bring a little bit of weight over towards that standing leg, not so that you're way over here, but just so that leg becomes a bit stronger. And then begin to rotate through this leg bone. And you find the place where you want to go. So whether it's on the shin or whether you want to move through that leg bone and then place it higher up, you decide what makes sense. The aim is to keep your pelvis as level as you can. Feel the foot against the shin against the foot against the floor. You can even place this hand on the outside of this leg here and then move that leg back into your hands. Yeah? Good. And then bring that leg back and then down. All right, so now from here, other side, and slide that foot wherever you want to place it. And then hands come up. Great, and then let that go. Okay, good. Now from here, take the legs wide. Rotate the leg bones out. Feel the 3 points in the bottom of the feet. Center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe. Hands on either side of your thighs. Press those thighs back. Good job. Good, and then come on up. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're with the legs wide. We're going to drop down and we're going to lean forward here. Good. And then we're going to move into a rotation. So with my hands on the top of my legs, I'm not pushing them back, I'm not pushing them forward, they're just resting here. You could keep the hands in the back and pressing the thighs back as you twist. And that's a really nice way of preventing the leg from falling in as you twist with your torso. Just watch if your toes want to grip or if your jaw or your tongue wants to get into this one. Good. All right. And let the hand come back into this position. Bring yourself, your upper body up. Keep yourself into the goddess position. Hands can come out. Feel your legs. And then lift on up. Good job. Okay. Now come back to standing. Now notice what you feel like. Take the legs wide again. Let's move into a warrior two. So pelvis stays level as we rotate through the leg bones. The foot drops down, pelvis is level. So notice if this pelvis did that. And just be aware of how that leg bone is moving because the foot's moving because of what's going on at the hip, right? So people often say to rotate the foot, but really the foot is moving because the hip's moving. Or that's what we would like anyway. And then coming into your warrior two, arms up. If it's available, yeah? So you're being aware of your pelvis and legs. And then just if you want to play with taking this a little bit further, then you play around with where your pelvis is, play around with your legs are. and just keep your hands here on your pelvis and just get a sense of what's going on between this back leg, which is one thing, front leg, which is another thing, and how you feel up through your upper body. So if you're going deeper and all of a sudden you feel clenching in your upper body, that could very well be a signal that you're going too far. Okay, good. And then other side. Rotate that leg bone, set your foot, pelvis is level. There you go. And if you want the arms up, go for it. All right, lovely. And then back up. Okay, now let's set ourselves up for triangle. So we're coming into the same position. Let's go into warrior two initially. Now from here, straighten through the knee and then hinge at the hips. Right, so you'll see that was one way of allowing that spine to stay more neutral and not collapsing between the bottom and the top. If you want to bring the arms into it, you can. Good job. And then back. Okay, good. Other side. Okay. You can come into it from warrior two. And then as you hinge through the knee and the hip. That is a way of doing it. Watching the bottoms of the feet, feeling them solid on the floor. Good. And then coming back up. All right, now find our goddess again. Rotating the leg bones in the hip socket. And then coming on down. Notice what this feels like. Now that you've done a little bit more work through your hips and your feet and your torso. Yeah. Maybe you bring the arms up. Maybe you bring them back and interlace your fingers. Relaxing toes. Good. And then come on up. Bring the legs back together. All right, just in case you got into your shoulders, then let's take the palms down and just reach those elbows back. The articulating joint is the shoulder. So it's back and back. You're exhaling through your nose or your mouth as you press back. So it's exhale, exhale, flip the hands, exhale and exhale. Perfect. Okay. And here we are. Notice what you're feeling. Notice your feet. Okay, let's come back down to the floor. Let's come back to happy baby now. So we're on the floor. Feel where the pelvis is. Bring one leg up. Notice the leg bone in the pelvis motion. Bring the other leg up. Feel the movement between the knees and the hips. And then grab wherever is comfortable and just notice what it all feels like. Go for the quality of the movement and how smooth it feels and any changes in that. And the quantity is interesting, but quality I find is much more effective for those people who are interested in improving efficiency, reducing pain, and getting stronger. All right, lovely. And then bring those legs down. Let's bring one leg across your body into a twist. Shoulder girdle stays on the floor. And then bring yourself back. And then other side. Good job. Then come on back. Lovely. All right, now you're here in your Shavasana. Legs are out. Noticing what it is that you feel. and easy breath. Lovely. Okay, and then slowly, you can stay there for as long as you'd like. And when you're ready to move on, just be aware of how your leg bones and your hips are functioning. And notice how they are through the day. You have a really, really great time practicing. Have a super day. We'll see you tomorrow.